Welcome to the Fantasy Debate with Sam Holt, and usually joined by Derek Tate. However, today I'm joined by John Helmkamp of the Redshirts podcast. This is being brought to you by Fantasy Focused and the Original Hooters. John, thank you so much for coming on a random Tuesday with me to talk football.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm excited about it.
Yeah, it'll be fun. We've got tons to talk about. We're going to talk a little bit about the amazing live stream that you and the guys over at the Redshirts had on Saturday. And then we're going to be talking a little bit about Cam Newton today, his sad news, end of an era, beginning of something new, hopefully. And then building a Dynasty league and our strategies, plus favorites that you have, deep favorites maybe, for the rookies coming up. So guys, if you have any questions, comments, please put them in the comments section and we will get to them as they pop up. We love having you guys join our live podcast and answering your questions. So Will Hayes jumping in there already. Hey guys. Hey Will. Happy to have you. So guys, please, any questions you have, we will totally go off the rails and answer any of them. So John, how did you guys, we're all stuck in quarantines. There's plenty of time for us to be talking football, but I really want to talk about how you guys set up this awesome live stream that you guys had on Saturday.
Yeah, it was absurd. So it's over on Redshirts Fantasy Football Podcast. You can find us on YouTube there. Me, Matthew Betts, and Matt Okada are the three hosts of that. They brought me on to that team about 2 months ago. Great dudes, great knowledge, very knowledgeable people. We just kind of had this idea of, we were just in a group text and kind of like, what if we just tried to get some really big people, some really awesome names to come on and just provide some entertainment, during this kind of weird, surreal, crappy season that we're all in. It's a weird time. And what if we just tried to put together something, and talk some football and provide some entertainment. And we reached out to a few people. Okada works at NFL Network as a researcher, so he's got a little bit of connection there. Other people that we've, been lucky enough to interact with on Twitter, stuff like that. Just kind of started putting out some feelers. And we were just floored by the response. It was so warm and welcoming and people just happy to do it and come on and share some knowledge and talk free agency and off-season moves and, quarantine snacks and all kinds of just really cool stuff. Yeah. We're just floored by the response that we had. And it was a great day. It was a long day. It's over 5 hours of recording, but it was so worth it. It was such an amazing time.
I think I watched the whole thing, but you guys had some because it was so much fun to watch and talk about. You guys got some amazing people, and you guys had Scott Hansen, you had Marcus Grant, Cynthia Freeland, Colleen Wolfe, Jason Moore from the Fantasy Footballers. There was just such great dynamic people on there, and getting to hear all their different, funny things, movies they like, snacks, which totally, some of them are really random. Talking to Scott Hansen about, how he manages to not go to the bathroom the entire time on Red Zone. That was hilarious.
It was so funny.
Him giving you that awesome witching hour drop. That was fantastic.
It is my new ringtone on my phone. I literally clipped the audio and uploaded it. It's wonderful. So big thank you to Scott Hansen for the entertainment that he provided us.
Yeah, that was awesome. And it was such a fun thing to watch. And as I was watching, I was talking to Michelle of the Ball Blast podcast, and we were joking about trying to do our own. And then in a couple hours later, we just decided, let's do an all-female version. And then we set it up, and we're going to do it this Saturday. And, you guys carried the flag, and we're just trying to march behind you and trying to bring some fantasy fun to everyone stuck in quarantine. So.
Yeah, I'm excited for that. I'm excited to watch you guys on that one and jump in the comments on that and interact with them and say hi to some familiar friends. It'll be cool.
Absolutely. Unfortunately, I did theme it women, wine, and football, so I will be drinking wine the entire time, which I don't think I can stay the same even keel for 5 hours talking football too. My tongue will be purple probably by the end. Tongue purple, teeth purple, making no sense, making weird claims. I think that the Jets should also get Cam Newton. Something crazy that makes no sense, but it'll be a lot of fun. Guys, thanks for jumping in the comments. Will Jenkins, what up? This guy's always in every episode, no matter what we do, and Will is the best. He is, without a doubt, the best PR director we could have or ask for over at Fantasy Focus. He's hilarious. And Dried Ocean, thanks for joining us too. What up? Guys, if you have any questions for John, please jump in. If you did get to see the live stream on Saturday, please let us know what your favorite part was, because that was a lot of fun. And I'm just looking forward to trying to keep up with what you guys did. I mean, you guys didn't get up for a long time. Who was the first one to bow out and need to like step out? Because that was 5 hours straight.
It was 5 hours. Betts was the first one, and it was right after talking to Scott Hansen about how he goes 7 straight hours uninterrupted without using the restroom on NFL Red Zone. And it was right after Scott that Betts is like, I am not as strong as Scott is, and I will be going to the bathroom now. And I was like, you're weak. And actually, Scott Hansen called him weak, and it cracked me up. It was perfectly timed.
Gosh,
I hope that Betts comes down a few pegs after that Scott Hansen jabbing.
You have to. You get called out by someone that does that so regularly with like a system. I mean, and he's like,
it is regimented how he does it.
Yeah,
it's no joke.
So good. Will Hayes has a question for us. Do you guys think David Johnson will fit in good with the Houston Texans?
So my thing about David Johnson is I wonder which David Johnson we're getting. Came into the league, took the league by storm, had the goal of 1,000 rushing yards, 1,000 receiving yards, didn't quite hit it. Christian McCaffrey did just this last year. David Johnson is already 28 years old. It feels like he just came into the league, but he's already 28. He looked like he lost a step last year, and I don't know if that was all health related or if it's just kind of catching up to him. But I do think that the Texans are going to give him every opportunity to try and succeed there in that system. It was the best scenario for David Johnson to go to, would be to go to that offense. They obviously swapped DeAndre Hopkins in that trade, so they don't have a whole lot going in that offensive system other than David Johnson and 2 wide receivers with huge injury question marks in Will Fuller and Kiki Kuti. So he's going to have every opportunity. I'm not drafting him as being an RB1 in Dynasty. Definitely not in redraft this coming year. If you can snag him as your second, I would prefer him as my third running back off the board. I would feel fine with that.
I think that depends on your league depth on the 2 or 3 spot, because I couldn't see him in a 10-person league, not going like hanging around. He's going to go pretty quickly. But I think for me, I've been thinking about this a lot, and I feel like there's got to be some sort of method to the madness, because this trade hit all of us and we all just kind of threw our hands up in the air and said, what, why? This makes no sense. But I mean, there has to be some sort of rhyme or reason. So perhaps the front office is just thinking they're going to try and snag one of the rookie wide receivers that is part of this huge class. There is a ton of talent that they can get to. So maybe they're just trying to bet on that and then also resurrect that running game, because they have been struggling with their running game for a while now.
Yeah, one of my concerns about David Johnson is that Deshaun Watson is one of the most athletic quarterbacks in the league. When things break down for him, he tends to take off. He's not a check down quarterback. He's not where if something breaks down or there's a blitzer that doesn't get picked up or he dumps it, he tries to bolt and make something happen with his feet while keeping his eyes upfield and, finding someone 40 yards for a touchdown when things break down. So I'm concerned about David Johnson's check down receiving, but I hope that they get him involved as an actual receiving option, like line him up in the slot, let him go to work on a linebacker and hit him with a quick slant, like stuff like that. He's really, really good at doing. So I think that his receiving volume will be fine, but maybe a little bit less than for a quarterback that, likes to dump it off to a running back and let him go.
Sure. Hopefully they both play each other's, best aspects up.
Yeah.
So you got to hope for that. Will also saying, because I'm thinking about keeping him for my 2nd round pick. I mean, would you keep him for a 2nd?
Oh man. Who are your other running backs? Hit me up with that. But David Johnson for a 2nd. It depends if it's an early 2nd or a late 2nd too. If that's an early 2nd, I think that I would prefer the early 2nd over David Johnson, just because David Johnson doesn't have the longevity either. He's only on a 1-year contract in Houston.
Yeah.
So they didn't invest a ton into him. He's more of a bridge, it feels like, to what they're going to do long term. They might be very active in the rookie class at running backs as well. They have so many needs. I don't know. They might not address running back at all, and David Johnson's just the guy, and then they try to bring him back next year or just addressed it another way. But he's not a long-term answer in Houston right now, unless he just comes out and tears the league up and they reward him for it. So
yeah,
we'll see what happens. But I'd probably go youth there. There's a lot of talent at the early second round in rookie drafts. If that's a late second, I'd probably hold on to David Johnson though.
Yeah, that makes sense. I like that. So talking a little bit about players and recent moves, today we learned that the Panthers were going to be releasing Cam Newton. Couple things with that. I guess first is, did we see the writing on the wall last year that this was coming just based on how Cam was acting with the team? I feel like we all kind of saw something negative to this effect happening. Plus the way that he said it's not mutual and with all those fun characters he likes to write with. But besides that, where do you think is the best position for him? Like, what's the team that's going to best suit him going forward?
Well, this is really tough because this is a unprecedented offseason with the coronavirus issues that we have going on and the way that restricts travel, league operations. Like, I actually just saw a tweet from Mike Garofalo like half an hour ago, I think it was, saying that all team facilities, because they've been leaving team facilities open to personnel, coaches, things like that, but not having the players in, they are closing down all facilities tomorrow night. I think it was night, but it's tomorrow that they're closing down all the facilities. Teams have not been able to take a look at players that are injured. They can't get their players to meet with their team doctors. And with Cam's injury concerns, that's why, in my opinion, there wasn't a trade market for him. No one could validate how healthy he is. And they're going, we don't know what we're getting here. Is he really coming back healthy and is going to be the Cam of old? Or are these still hanging on and lingering? And if we can't validate that, if we can't get some answers around his health, then it's too much of a risk. We're not going to trade for him. We're just going to wait it out and wait for the Panthers to release him. And then that's what unfortunately happened. So he is a very gifted quarterback, very athletic. We haven't seen it for a couple years because of injuries. If he is truly healthy, though, we're running out of landing spots, quite frankly. There's not many left. So New England, I guess, is probably, I would hate it. I would hate that so much.
Why?
Because I don't like them.
I don't like them either. You think these colors mean I like the Patriots?
I know, right? As a Seahawks fan that watched Malcolm Butler pick off Russell Wilson on the goal line and crush my dreams, I'm still mad. And that was 6 years ago.
Forever mad.
Forever mad. But yeah, the Patriots would make sense, I guess, but I'm kind of thinking they're just going to roll with the youth movement / cheap Brian Hoyer and, address quarterback via the draft. So I don't know. It's tricky. There's not a whole lot of spots available. The Chargers, potentially, they have Tyrod Taylor there, and then they're going to be looking at probably drafting as well, but we're running out of spots.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like the team that unfortunately makes the most sense seems to be the Patriots, just because of the type of player that Cam is and the type of offense that's kind of left there in New England. I feel like he's the best guy to make plays happen versus like someone that just needs to get the ball to, the amazing weapons that are available for the Chargers. I feel like Cam needs to be able to be there to extend the play, to make different things happen, to make the different pieces that they already have work. I think that he's going to be the guy to be able to do that. I love the theory that's floating around, and I think I was talking to Derek about this on one of our last shows. But maybe the Patriots just go ahead and tank this year, and maybe they just want Trevor Lawrence, and they just
oh my gosh, if they do this, if they tank and go get Trevor Lawrence, and then Bill Belichick goes for 5 more Super Bowls in the next 15 years with Trevor Lawrence at quarterback, I am going to hate life so much.
That sounds like something they would do, though, doesn't it? Something
does.
They would do just to upset the rest of us, like intentionally to be like, fine, middle finger, whatever, just tank and then take Trevor from us.
Tear it all down while you have cheap quarterbacks on roster without going out and spending money in free agency. tank, put yourself in a better situation, maybe trade some of those defensive players for first round picks next year so that they have several and they're positioned to then move up and take it. It just sounds like it could happen, and it would make me cry if that actually panned out.
I mean, I can't cry because I'm dead inside, but if I could, I would cry. I literally only cry at the Olympics, which I'm not going to get to cry this year because they're postponed, which is fine, and I understand and respect it. But yeah, I only cry at the Olympics or when I get to watch my brother play a game and he's standing there for the national anthem. Then like I get a tiny tear because it's a proud sister moment.
Just one little.
Yeah, it doesn't fall; it gets sucked back up, but it
hangs out right there until you just flick it.
It's not there. No, I don't really cry about it. But Will Hayes was getting back to you on the running backs that he has. So he has, I think he means Devin Singletary, or is there a David Singletary and Devonta Freeman?
You're holding David Johnson 100% if you have Devin Singletary and a Devonta Freeman that is not currently signed.
Yeah.
You need to hold on to David Johnson 100%.
Yeah.
You need to actually acquire more running backs. So don't send them away. Get more. Sell that second if you have that second. I don't know if that was your second.
Oh no, that was I think his position
an offer
is
from
second with David Johnson. So
okay. Go make moves for more running backs. Kenyon Drake would be a great buy option.
Yes, exactly. And John Lobb is joining us. What's up, John?
What up?
He looks forward to listening, I think, to my Saturday podcast, so it'll be exciting. And there is water in my water bottle, and this is a crazy water bottle, I know. But it's also a foam roller, so that's why I like it, because I'm a gym person. It's very absurd. I can drink 3 of these, and that's a whole gallon. Nice. But then, in the other hand, I've got wine.
There you go.
So we've got it. Double fisting, kind of getting prepared. I've got to prepare the liver for a Saturday that will be me with a whole bunch of amazing women in the fantasy football sphere, drinking wine and talking football. So if I got to drink wine for 5 hours, I got to start prepping for that now.
Stay hydrated.
Stay hydrated. Drink wine, water, water. And then somehow never leave.
Absolutely.
I don't know how I'm going to do that.
That's how this goes.
That's not how it works when you're at a bar. That's not at all how it works. Not how any of this works. God. Okay, so that was with Cam and where we thought he would go best. The only other small news I guess we could talk about is Brashad Perriman signing with the Jets. But I think what we need to talk about is the real weapons that the Jets need to get for Sam Darnold, because it doesn't seem like he needs help. The poor kid needs help.
Help the guy out, man.
Yeah. I mean, how do you think he felt looking at his phone seeing that signing? Like, come on. Can you get me someone?
I mean, it went from Robbie Anderson, who left, to Brashad Perriman, and to me, that's a wash. Yeah. That's just kind of like, okay, well, nothing's changed. We just lost one and then found a quick, cheap replacement for 1 year. I think it was 1 year, $8 million, something like that. It's just a 1 year Band-Aid. And Le'Veon Bell's only getting older. Was he 32, 33 now? He's getting up there. Man, it is the poor kid. They need everything, and they don't have a lot of draft capital to do it with. And that is what is so concerning. It just doesn't look good. I mean, they might be able to get one more asset, if they want to invest in skill position early and go try to get a CeeDee Lamb, Jerry Jeudy, and give them a wide receiver, but then they don't have a whole lot of draft capital to help the rest of the team out. They need help on like all levels. So it's not looking very promising there for one Mr. Sam Darnold.
No, it's like he's looking out at a very rocky ocean and he's just in like a dinghy of a boat and he's like, "Can I get an oar? You guys took away my oars. I got nothing. I got to put my hand out here and try and paddle to keep this boat from sinking." It's seeing ghosts all next year.
Yes, he is, especially in that division with all those secondaries that they have in the AFC East. I mean, there's like 6 Pro Bowl cornerbacks in the AFC East, something like that. It's ridiculous. Yeah, it's not going to go well.
No, so hopefully the Jets can pull something together to, even bring some excitement for fantasy owners. I mean, I feel like that's almost a ghost town of an offense that people are going to be avoiding. There always ends up being a couple teams where a lot of people avoid the entire offense.
Which is great because somehow by trades and such, I have both of the Jets wide receivers on roster in a dynasty league. So I'm feeling great about myself right now. Yeah, it's not great. Not great, Bob.
But you know, it'll be okay. Dried Ocean jumping in and saying Carolina seems very confusing. Are they rebuilding or trying to compete?
They're competing. I don't see them in a rebuild. They go out and they get Teddy Bridgewater, who is way better than what they had under center last year. Cam Newton just hasn't been working out. There's, malcontent between both sides there. It was best to just press the reset button and move on from that. And with his health concerns as well. Teddy Bridgewater is going to be great. He's going to be able to come in, distribute the ball well, get it to great playmakers in space that are fantastic after the catch. Christian McCaffrey, DJ Moore, Curtis Samuel, Ian Thomas, and now you add Robbie Anderson as a third wide receiver into that mix. That is an offense that is trying to win in a very tough division with Tom Brady now in Tampa and the Saints, and the Falcons still look potent. It's going to be interesting, but no, they're definitely not tearing it down.
No, I think things got pretty spicy pretty quickly there in that division. And I love Teddy Bridgewater, and I'm maybe a little bit biased because he went to Louisville. It's where my brother went to college, so I got to see him play, which was a lot of fun.
Nice.
Great kid. He's someone my brother actually, had met in college, and he said he's just a smart, really good guy. So you always got to root for. To me, I love personalities of players, and you hear so many people. You get the notifications on ESPN. Someone else did something bad. But Teddy's just always been such a good kid, good guy, had that horrible injury, really put in the work to get back and get it right. And he really earned that job with playing the way he did this past season. So I'm excited for him. And like you just said, he's got a bunch of really great weapons geared up, ready to go. And he's got Christian McCaffrey. It's kind of
Mr. Christian McCaffrey, who's both a wide receiver one and a running back one.
Exactly. So with that kind of a switch army knife, he's going to be successful. Are you looking at Bridgewater in 2 QB formats as someone that you want or someone higher? Where do you rank him right now?
Yeah, I think that he's going to be right around a mid quarterback 2 for me. If you're playing in Superflex, I think that he's absolutely a safe option as a quarterback 2. You might even be able to get him as your quarterback 3, which would be fantastic. I think with the weapons that he has there, I think that he is going to do just fine. I think that he's somewhere around that quarterback 15 to 18 range, somewhere right in there.
Gotcha. Yeah, I think that sounds about right for him. I just don't want people to miss out on him, or I want them to miss, and then I can grab him really, really late and just stash him away for a nice day, which I think sounds good. Chris Cox is here. What up, Chris? Thanks for joining us. And yes, I am a Steelers fan. Big Steelers fan. Always have been.
Yinzers.
Can't help myself. I'm sorry. And Victor J is jumping in with a question. Hey, Victor, who wins the starting job in Washington?
First off, props for the Toronto Maple Leafs logo. Super random out of left field on a football podcast, and I love it.
Victor's our resident Canadian. He's always here. I love Victor.
It's fantastic. That's great. Who wins the starting quarterback job in Washington? I mean, assuming that they don't draft Tua, it's going to be Dwayne Haskins. That I think gets that job. They brought in some insurance, but I almost felt like by them doing that and bringing in Kyle Allen, that Kyle Allen is like a safe backup because he was with Ron Rivera in Carolina last year. He knows Ron's system. It's like, okay, let's bring you in and you're going to be a safe backup that's already going to have a leg up on the playbook and the understanding of things. But I think that them doing that is them kind of putting a vote of confidence on Dwayne Haskins. I don't think that they make that move if they're going to go draft Tua. I don't think that that's the case. I think that they're going to roll with Dwayne Haskins and either trade out of the 2 spot for someone that really wants to come up for Tua, or they're going to stay there and take Chase Young.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. I just feel like to have someone like Dwayne Haskins and then to go and get another rookie quarterback just doesn't seem to have confidence in Dwayne Haskins to begin with. So I feel like it makes more sense having Kyle Allen as the backup and being like, Dwayne, you're our guy. You don't need to compete. Give the kid some confidence. Where last year he played deer in headlights, no confidence in the team, anything.
They would throw him out there and then they'd pull him back, and it was a mess the way that they handled him.
No, so I think that, I mean, I love Ron Rivera. I didn't like the way that the Panthers did him last year, but I think that he is someone that's going to try and instill confidence in his quarterback. You know, he's a coach that I think a lot of people love and love the way that he's worked with different quarterbacks, with different players. So I think that it makes more sense that they just stick with Dwayne, and Kyle Allen is just, like you said, a good, safe backup, already knows Rivera's system, and is just there as a backup just in case. Supporting role. Dwayne, you're our guy. Just carry the torch. You got this.
Yep, I agree.
So Dried Ocean jumping into with a great one. Just a little background. Derek is a huge Bucks fan, so we get tons and tons of Bucks questions here.
Bring it. Let's go. Good year for you guys.
Dried Ocean saying, am I crazy to say that the Bucks won't make the playoffs? They aren't even the best team in the division. They don't have a great defense, and the NFC is also a lot tougher than the AFC. I'm glad that Tate's not here to get all fiery on you, Dried Ocean. But John would love to hear your take.
Yeah. Here's the thing that's interesting is that this year with the new CBA, we get an extra playoff team per conference. So that opens the door for one more NFC team to kind of squeak in there. The Bucks were close. They had a decent record last year, even with Jameis throwing 30 interceptions.
Yeah.
Tom Brady's not going to throw half that. He's going to maybe 10 tops he'll throw this season. They've got great weapons on offense. Are you crazy for thinking they won't? No. If they don't, it wouldn't surprise me. But Tom Brady is so competitive and is such a winner. He's not going down there to not win. Like, he's going there to try and bring that passion and energy and knowledge and wisdom about the game into that system. And try to get it done. And they did a great job, I think, by going and getting Tom Brady. It's one less thing that they need to address in the draft. So it leaves their draft capital open to try and take care of some of those other things. Their offense is pretty much good. They're going to draft a running back at some point because they literally only have Ronald Jones on roster. Yeah. Peyton Barber left today. He signed a short, small contract with Washington. So they're going to draft a running back, but I don't think it's going to be a high pick. I think they'll fill in some depth later with running back. But those concerns about defense and a line, I think that they're going to come in there and they're really going to try to make a run at it. I love that I'm going to get Tom Brady, Drew Brees twice a season. That is awesome.
Yeah, no, I think that's really exciting. And I mean, to me, I have to agree where, to your point of Brady's a competitor and he's always been a competitor. I mean, he signed there because he felt he had the best chance to win. And so that's going to be his goal. So I don't see them not making the playoffs just because they have that kind of Mamba mentality player on their side. I mean, you got to love that. He's absolutely going to make the playoffs at the very least. I think that in that division, possible Super Bowl? Question mark? I think you know, you can't count him out just because he's with the Bucks. I mean, I've never been, big on the Bucks because they always laugh about Winston, but now he's not the laughable part of that team anymore. Now you just look at it and say, wait, Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Tom Brady,
OJ Howard.
Maybe he can revitalize OJ Howard, bring him to what he should be like.
A quarterback that actually sees when a tight end is on the field.
A quarterback that sees down the field, that sees his open players, that can connect with a pass to that open player.
I know. I think it was Scott Hansen on the Redshirts live stream this last weekend that said that he wanted to watch the world burn. He wanted to have Jameis Winston sign with the Bucks, and so they just switch. Tom Brady's down with the Bucks. Jameis is up with New England. New England versus Tampa Bay for the Super Bowl in Tampa Bay, which is where it's going to be hosted. And the entire world would just fall apart.
Absolutely. That sounds like a hell freezing over type of scenario. Atlantis comes back out of the ocean.
Oh yeah.
Crazy things ensue. I mean, I can't wrap my brain around that even happening.
Yeah, the storylines for Super Bowl week would be absurd.
Yeah, it would just be, Belichick, a Sith Lord, against Brady cast as like Rey, and then they're just trying to battle it out in the whole Star Wars universe.
It'd be fantastic.
It would be fantastic. It would make a lot of money. It would be, blockbuster. However,
don't see it happening.
Yeah, I don't see it happening. But I think John's appreciating, and he will be listening on Saturday as well. Thanks, John.
Sweet.
Appreciate you. But yeah, let's jump into Dynasty a little bit. And as you and I are in a Dynasty league,
we are
very excited about that. I'm trying my best in that Dynasty league, and I feel like I started off pretty good in the draft, being a little bit of a snake taking people's picks, and now I feel like I'm getting swallowed up in quicksand with how much and how active you guys are. I can't keep up. I just can't.
This is the most active league that I have ever been a part of. There are trades, plural, literally every day.
Every day. And then I'm just...
Every single day there are trades taking place in this league. It is absolutely baffling. It's so much fun, though. The chat is incredible.
Yeah.
This is a huge pet supporter of a league. So there are many animal pictures frequenting our group chat. It's a blast of a league. But it's nuts.
Jeez, yeah. I mean, I have to definitely populate it with some more pictures of my cat, Knox, because he's quite a character. At some point, he usually shows his face on the podcast because he's trying to play with the cables that are by my computer. And he's a giant cat. He's huge, giant black cat. And I like to joke that he is he's like Bane and that he was born in the darkness. So
I love it.
Yeah, he's quite a silly little one. But when you go into a new league like ours, how do you build your draft board? Like, how do you set yourself up? You usually know ahead of time what pick you're at. So aside from the general populace, which is I try and get Christian McCaffrey first because a dynasty pick is not going to lose if you get McCaffrey. After him, how else do you build?
Yeah. Building a dynasty team is a lot different than building a redraft team because when you're doing a redraft, you are keeping an eye on different positions, making sure that you're filling out your roster completely. You want to make sure that you have, a solid RB1, a solid wide receiver 1. You want to make sure that you're a complete team. For me, dynasty is about best value. Like all the way down. If there happens to be a crazy run on running backs, I'm not going to panic and take a running back. I'm a running back guy. Like that's my position. But if there's a crazy run on running backs, I'm going to scoop up, 2 wide receiver 1s in the first and second round. It's about getting the best value that you can at first because those are trade assets. Mm-hmm. Those are, longevity pieces. I think that for me, wide receivers are really important in a dynasty draft. It's important to get, young ascending wide receivers on your roster to complement like your established vets. Like I'm in one startup right now where I got DeAndre Hopkins as my wide receiver 1 and I got DK Metcalf as my wide receiver 2. And I'm like, that is a perfect pairing for me. I have established veteran wide receiver 1 in a really good system. Mm-hmm. And then a young ascending stud in DK Metcalf as my wide receiver 2. I love that. That's great. Running backs, when they come into the league, running backs hit more frequently than like any other position in year 1. Like you have rookies that step in and become running back 1s, like top 12 running backs every single year. It feels like.
Sure.
You had Josh Jacobs. Yep. Miles Sanders came on strong down the back. Devin Singletary came on strong down the second half. You can get stud running backs year over year. And then by the time that they're hitting their like second contract, you kind of want to get out from under them unless they are, like a Saquon or a CMC. But we just saw it. Like Zeke maybe has another really, really good year left. And then I think he's going to start to fall off. Derrick Henry might have another 1 or 2 good years, and they only franchise tagged him. They're not even giving him a long-term contract because running backs are so replaceable. Mm-hmm. You have like a 3-year window with running backs, whereas wide receivers take time to develop into being studs. Like they don't hit as being a wide receiver 1 their rookie year very often.
Sure.
Like, you're not going to get an Odell Beckham Jr. every single year that comes in and has 1,300 yards and like 10 touchdowns. I think he did, whatever his rookie numbers were.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I like to build around best available. And I like making sure that I have, young ascending wide receivers on my roster.
Absolutely. And I mean, I love that you speak about the longevity of players too, because I mean, it sucks because I feel like we get really attached to our running backs.
Oh, I do. I love my running backs.
I get quite attached. I mean, in my Dynasty League, my one that I've been in the longest, I have Aaron Jones right now. I picked him up in a trade last year, and I feel like I want to hold on tight to that teddy bear Aaron Jones, and I don't want to let go because he won me a championship. Mm-hmm. But you have to look at their longevity, and I mean, I'm really questioning, do I have to get rid of him this year? Is this a trade move? Maybe it's a late trade that I make just to shore up some draft capital for next year. But I think that it's very true. You have to look at these players for their value now and next year. You have to keep thinking ahead when you're in Dynasty. I definitely drafted our league like I want to just win it this year, but
and there's nothing wrong with that. There are multiple
with that.
You can draft it to win now, or you can draft for like youth and upside, and like Matthew Betts calls it a progressive struggle, is what he calls his team in our league. He's like, this is a progressive struggle. This is going to be a long play and not a win now roster. Yeah. So there are multiple ways to do it. I like getting a blend of the two. I always you play fantasy football to win. You don't want to be like constantly 2 years away from being 2 years away.
Exactly.
Like you need to play to win when you feel like you have the pieces. Mm-hmm. So if draft to win now, do it. But, also keep an eye on, kind of the age of the players that you're drafting as well. Sure. Like, I don't want all my wide receivers to be 28 or older. No. That would suck. So you got to take an eye on that as well.
For sure. And you got to see, obviously, free agency moves, the way that they just panned out. I mean, Hopkins now with Arizona, just how crazy that boggles your mind on the value of Kyler Murray now.
Oh.
I mean, it's just, your brain does the explode emoji. It just gets so exciting.
It does. When you think about the system that he has with Cliff Kingsbury and running 4 wide, that air raid offense, like Cliff now has the weapons to run the offense that he wants to run.
Yeah.
And absolutely. They still might draft another wide receiver. It could happen. If they draft CeeDee Lamb in the first round and you have DeAndre Hopkins on one side, CeeDee on the other, Larry Fitzgerald, it's so spicy. It would be an absurd offense. Kyler is just primed to take a massive second-year leap. He's my dynasty quarterback 3.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he's so young. He's got so many talented weapons, and they're definitely shoring him up for a good future, a good amount of time for him to be successful. It's not just a win next year. It's going to be more than that. They're going to be playoff hungry for a couple years now.
Yeah, the NFC West, especially in this new playoff format, I mean, you could potentially have 3 teams from the NFC West in the playoffs, and the one team left out could be the Rams, who was in the Super Bowl 2 years ago.
Which is insane to think about. Come on, McVay. Come on. We thought better of you. You were the chosen one.
He was.
He was the chosen one.
If you shook hands with McVay, you got a head coaching job last year.
Absolutely. So what happened there? Dried Ocean jumping in. It is also might be that he's a Bills fan. He wants to see Tom Brady fail. We don't blame you. I'm a Steelers fan. I want to see him fail too, but the stars never align when I wish that. So, either I get on board with this train or I get run over by it, which is usually what happens when I wish ill on the Tom Brady. He just destroys my team, which makes me sad. Will Jenkins jumping into which move, if any, do you like most? Funchess in Green Bay, Perriman for the Jets, or Robbie Anderson in Carolina?
Gross. None. I don't like Funchess at all. Period. To me, this is what drove me absolutely insane. The Funchess move happened second. It was Robbie Anderson first, Funchess second, and then Perriman was the third signing. These all happened today.
Yeah.
And when Funchess went to Green Bay, I cried inside because I wanted Perriman to go to Green Bay. That was the spot that I wanted to see him in,
Sure.
or the Eagles. And the Eagles didn't do anything. I don't know what you're doing, Eagles. Can you please get that together, Howie Roseman?
I think they're all in quarantine and chill mode.
I hope so too. I hope that is Howie Roseman, isn't it? I hope I didn't just confuse GMs. I'm pretty sure that's their GM. But they haven't done anything to address wide receiver at all. And there were some available. Like, I wanted them to go out and make a huge splash and take Amari Cooper away from Dallas. That didn't happen. And then I'm like, okay, if that's not going to happen, maybe they'll get Robbie Anderson. Okay, if not Robbie, then Perriman. If not Perriman, nothing. They didn't do anything. They actually lost Nelson Aguilar. So these moves, I don't like Funchess at all. Robbie Anderson in Carolina
might be the favorite.
That's the one that I'm the most intrigued by, because he and Matt Rule have that connection from Temple. He was on Matt Rule's team. They have this deep relationship outside of football. Like, they are so connected. Robbie might sneak into being the wide receiver 2 on that team. Like, it could be DJ Moore first with Robbie second, and then Curtis Samuel being like the slot intermediate kind of guy. So I am so curious, because we have new pieces in Carolina. We have a new head coach in Carolina. We have a new offensive coordinator in Carolina. It is so hard for me to project what that offense is going to look like, because we've never seen all of these pieces together. So I don't know. If I have Robbie Anderson, I'm certainly holding. I'm not really actively going and buying him, I don't think. Maybe I would, but the range of outcomes for him in Carolina, I think, is so wide that it's a bit confusing.
Yeah. I mean, he could easily just slide around 2 or 3 across the board. But I mean, again, of these 3, I think of the ones that I like the most potential for, I guess it would have to be Robbie Anderson.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've never been a big fan of Funchess. I feel like I've had him off the waiver wire too many times and been burned too many times to really look back. Like, this guy is not texting me back. I'm not going to send it out. I'm not even going to send out the 2 a.m. text. He's not texting me back. Like, exactly. You totally get it, right?
You're dead to me.
You're dead to me. Absolutely. Yep. And John, I love that you're asking me Steelers questions. So, first Steelers game I've been to last year was actually my first Steelers game.
Nice.
I went to the Chargers Steelers game because I'm in LA. So Sweet. It turned into a home Steelers game, which I learned very quickly. StubHub is very small. I turned around. I brought my dad with me, and he was just in awe that everyone was in black and yellow. He's like, he couldn't look at the field, and I kept being like, Dad, what are you looking at? I just don't understand. I don't understand. He just kept looking. I don't get it. Like, where? How?
Yeah.
It was such a fun experience because we won and had so many defensive touchdowns that were ridiculous.
That's right. You did that game.
It was an insane game. It was so good.
It was
so good. I mean, thankfully the person next to me had an extra terrible towel. I had forgotten mine because I'm an idiot, but I was whipping that thing around. It was so much fun. And there were towels everywhere. Someone that was the DJ doing the music messed up and started playing Renegade in the fourth quarter. And they got cut off in the middle because the fans were just like, wait, this is the Steelers song.
Renegade.
Someone got fired that day. So it was a lot of fun. So that's the first Steelers game I've ever attended. John saying, I'll never forget Super Bowl 13 with my dad. I hated the Cowboys and I loved Bradshaw. That sounds too good. I mean,
that's awesome.
It was a great win, and I love Bradshaw. I loved him on TV. Did you see him cry when he got inducted?
I did.
It was a beautiful moment. I cry when other guys cry like that. But then again, it's the same kind of like I kind of create a tear and then it just gets sucked back up in my face. But I love that he's asking me a Ben question. Do you trust Ben in fantasy this year?
At home or away?
You know what? Road Ben was doing better until he got hurt.
Michelle!
Sorry. Jump in. Oh, Michelle's joining. Hey, Michelle.
What up?
Michelle wants to jump in and help me with these Steelers questions because I get nervous.
Michelle, why don't you answer about Big Ben this year? Do you trust Big
him?
Ben in fantasy this season?
I trust him to be better, and I feel like he's definitely, top 15, perhaps. I could say that. It could happen. Crazier things have happened, maybe. Who knows?
Michelle's probably got him as a top 10 guy. Actually, Michelle acquired Ben Roethlisberger today
in
in
our
a
league.
trade. Yep.
I can't keep up. I mean, in my other
It's crazy.
Dynasty league, we would go back and forth on trades, debating them for like a month at a time. But I cannot keep up with these quick fire trades that happen in this league. It's too much. But John, to answer your question, do I trust Ben in fantasy this year? I do, but as like a QB2 that I'm hoping with the right matchup is going to get me some good things. But I'm not trusting him as my number one. And I think that if I had a 2 QB league, it would still be a little bit late for me. I mean, maybe is my second. It would depend on how deep the league is. If it's a very deep league, then sure.
Can I put you on the spot with the Steelers question?
Okay.
How are we feeling about Juju?
Okay, he's going to come back just fine this year. This kid trains. I follow him on Instagram, and I swear if I could just stalk him in LA, I would, but we're in quarantine, so I can't leave my house. But I feel like Juju's going to come back really strong this year. I mean, the Steelers just had every single thing go wrong that could go wrong last year. In every type of game, every situation was just bad. I mean, we were losing to the Browns, and then one of their players tried to kill our quarterback. Like it was just an insane year. So I feel like this has got to be our year. Tomlin is still our coach. I love him as our coach. He's just so even keel, level-headed guy. He's going to bring it back. Juju's going to be just fine. I like that you're going to be able to get Juju late this year because he went so early last year in redraft. I feel like a lot of people are going to be letting him fall in drafts. So I like the value potential you could get with Juju this year a lot.
I mean, he's second or later in redrafts this year. He's got to be, right? Like second round, maybe third round, might sneak into the early third.
I feel like early third is a very good value spot for him, just based on the potential that you could get with a healthy Juju, a healthy Ben, who says that he feels healthier than he has in a long time. Unfortunately, he has that insane beard, so hopefully he gets that situation figured out.
What even? Okay. I'm
Also,
not even going to go into details.
Also, I don't understand, and this is a lot of guys do this. I gotta throw all you guys under the bus. But why do you guys take your videos with your camera down here?
You know, I just really wanted to talk about what's going on.
Taller? Because this isn't an attractive view of anybody. Nobody looks good. Take a note out of...
I just really want to talk about what's going on with the Steelers right now and Ben Roethlisberger. It's a terrible angle for every single person.
But a lot of guys do it.
It's awful.
A lot of guys do it. Just take a note, take a page out of the millennials, handbook. Lift the camera up.
Lift it up. That's it.
There's some more attractive angle.
You got a good question there.
Yeah, trying to will Big Ben be the first 300-pound QB? How dare you, sir? How dare you? He is a gentleman and a scholar.
He's starting to look like Matt Patricia's older brother.
How dare you? That is
what
harsh.
Big Ben is starting to look like.
Those are harsh. Hey, he says he feels healthier. So what? He's just gonna walk around with like a
What's
Holt
he gonna
arm
What's he gonna say?
Like a tank
body? Sam, what is he going to say? I've actually really let myself go. I feel like shit right now. Thank you very much.
But I can throw, so I'm happy. How dare you? Dry Ocean, I thought you were on my side. Looks like Rob Ryan. That's not cool. That's not cool.
That's great.
We are not on good terms anymore. They're not. Throwing my guy under the bus. Well, at least I know Michelle's excited. Woo, can't wait. Michelle's excited. I'm excited for Steelers this year.
I can't wait for the Steelers to draft Jonathan Taylor. That's so happening in my book.
Oh my gosh, that would be so exciting. Please, please, oh please. Love that.
It would make me a Steelers fan.
Hey, would you wear the black and yellow? That was a next question. No. Yeah, that's my answer right there. Never wearing the black and yellow, but that's okay. I've got enough. I've got enough for many people.
You've got plenty.
Got plenty. My boss always laughs at me because I will wear black and yellow without actually being Steelers, memorabilia. I'll have like black shirt, yellow pants, all of the opposite. And they'll be like, colors today, but you're not playing. I'm like, yeah, but it's the spirit.
Steelers are life.
They are life. Football is not in an off season. I wore black and yellow to the office. I think it was last week or the week before. And that was the day that we got Derek Watt. And so my boss was like, what's going on with the Steelers today? I'm like, I manifested good juju, and we got an extra Watt brother. So
now,
I'm
Derek Watt is a really, really good under the radar signing that people aren't talking about a lot. What he can do for their running game, I'm really excited about. So whether that's a healthy James Conner back in the lead role, or if it's an incoming rookie that's going to take a shot at that job, Derek Watt is a really nice signing for that game.
It's a nice sneaky play, and I'm excited for what he's going to do with that offense. Plus, I think that, there's not enough can be said about when players are happy where they're playing. He's playing football with his brother. You can't beat that. I know. And I love that Brett Keisel tweeted out at JJ and said, hey, you can have 99.
I love it.
99.
That should happen.
Can you imagine? Michelle, how much would you love that if we collected the whole set? Collect the whole set.
It would be fun. It would be really entertaining.
Tell you what, if the Texans absolutely just tank this year,
you can probably go get JJ for like a 5th round pick right now.
Hell yeah, we could.
The way that Bill O'Brien's conducting things.
Oh my gosh, that would be such a fun atmosphere. Oh my god.
John, yes, he did.
Did wide receiver Brashad Perriman sign with the Jets? I saw a tweet. Yes, John, he did.
Well, intended to. I don't think that ink's actually to paper, but yeah.
Yeah. Pen near paper. It's happening.
In the general proximity.
Exactly. But yeah, anyways, I love all the Steelers talk. Totally got me excited. I love that you also think that Derek Watt is a good sneaky signing. I feel like
it is.
Nobody's talking about it.
Yeah, it's really nice for that run game, especially. It was a good signing. I saw that happen, and I was like, ooh, that's interesting. That helps that run game.
I got so excited. I called my dad, and I was like, Dad, we got another one. And he's like, I can't understand you when you yell. But
we got another what? I don't understand. No, yeah. A watt, not a what, a watt.
We got a watt. He's like, what? A watt? We got a watt. But yeah. And then anyways, but let's go ahead and jump back a little bit onto our schedule just to kind of round out this pod. Just to talk a bit about, something that I think we're all hoping that still happens despite, the Corona catastrophe. But the rookie draft, I think that it's still happening, right?
Yeah. Did you see the news tonight about it that they were putting out there? So the league owners unanimously petitioned to the league to postpone the draft, and the league said no, that we're going to go ahead with the draft on
Roger
schedule.
Goodell said, I am all that is law, and we will do what I want.
Pretty much. That's basically what just happened. So it looks like it's still going to happen as scheduled in some capacity. I don't know if it's going to be just straight up like teleconference like they used to do. It could be. Whatever it is that they're going to look at doing, it sounds like the draft is still going to happen, and that is in officially less than a month, because isn't it the 23rd of April that it starts?
23rd and today's the 22nd.
And today's the 24th, so we are under a month until the NFL draft, which is super exciting.
Absolutely. And you know what? I think that it sucks that the league didn't, heed the wishes of the owners and postpone it even just a little bit, because obviously these teams want to have the best look of these players as they can. And like we said earlier, the doctors are no longer seeing people. All facilities are shut down, so they can't even conduct the average physical for these players. But how many times have we watched top players go on the phone at home with their families? They're probably at home with their families now. So why not just keep it that way? We've seen it enough. Technology is what it is these days. It's going to be fine. Will it be the same as what was planned, which was players getting on boats crossing the Bellagio fountain to accept their hat and handshake? No, not quite on the same level.
Won't be happening. Which I'm bummed about, because I was trying to get to Vegas.
Me too.
Yeah.
And I was looking at like prices going down. I'm like, dang, this is going to be great. And of course, prices were going down because of everything that was happening. And now I'm glad I didn't, have a wash and waste money on something I wouldn't have been able to attend. However, it would have been so much fun to go to. That would have been a crazy party.
It really would have.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm stoked for it to happen. If it does continue, I think there's, it can be looked at from so many different angles, but I think that the teams want to know what their assets are going to be, and then start like communicating with those people. Like, even if off-season programs are pushed back because of everything that's going on, being able to start like talking with them. Maybe they're doing phone calls and, Zoom meetings and whatever with these players to start introducing them to the team, culture, absolutely. The system, like everything that goes involved with that. So I can see the benefit of wanting to have your rosters and then address things as they come after that.
I mean, just to build up that, team morale, just to introduce, these are going to be your guys. This is your system. Just to get people excited about that, especially during a time with such uncertainty and such confusion and such worry. I feel like just having that for those people is going to be super helpful. Plus, the families of those players that are going to draft it. Obviously, there's a lot that goes with that too. So just having that sort of excitement, we've got to have stuff to look forward to, which is why we're talking so much more football these days. Makes it more fun.
Exactly.
Take your mind off the fact that you already ate all of your quarantine snacks.
Shush.
And talk about football.
I have not.
I definitely have eaten a lot of them. I'm hiding from myself several bags of like Easy Mac, just hiding them so that maybe I'll find them later and be really excited about it. But thanks, John. Yeah. Wow. First Steelers game last year. So cool. Happy for you. Thank you, John. I appreciate that. I mean, I've been trying to go see the Steelers for a long time, but they do not travel to the West Coast. And I've always had a job that makes it difficult to travel in season. So someday I'll get to go to the glorious Heinz Field, maybe with Michelle. That would be awesome.
Oh yeah. If you're anywhere near Pittsburgh, you guys are getting together.
100%. 100%. Probably bad things will happen. Town will be painted a different color. I'll probably get arrested, but it'll be a great time. It'll be something out of The Hangover. I'll wake up, there'll be a tiger in the bed. I don't know why, but that's what's going to happen. It'll just be good times. Yeah. Victor J's, you guys watching Tiger King on Netflix to kill this boredom? Tiger King? Is that documentary?
I am not watching Tiger King. It seems like it's the popular thing lately to be doing, but I tend to not really do the popular thing, which is why I've only seen like 4 episodes of The Office in my entire life. So I've been told that I immediately need to rectify this, and I will be doing that over this quarantine and chill session. But yeah, I miss the boat on stuff. Like I miss the boat on The Office. I missed the boat on Game of Thrones. I never watched an episode of Game of Thrones.
I've never seen an episode of Game of Thrones, but I'm still stuck on the fact that you haven't seen The Office. No, we can't do a full high five because you haven't seen The Office.
Okay, I will binge the rest of season 1 when we get off of this, and then we can be friends.
Okay, that is the bare minimum to become friends. Is you have to have at least watched The Office. Then you can get the references. Because I feel like half the time I speak in references, which is why Tate, who's normally on my show with me, he and I have so much fun because we speak in references constantly, and he does the best voices. So all we do is talk movies and references. But quickly, let's just get through a couple players of the rookies that we are kind of building to talk about, but running out of time. Who are your favorite rookie picks that are based on value? I feel like a lot of people have the same top ones, not looking for the top guys. We're just looking for other guys that people can pick up in the later rounds of their rookie draft. So we all know everybody loves CeeDee Lamb, Jonathan Taylor, Joe Burrows. Who are the other people that people should be looking for?
Yeah, Jonathan Taylor is the love of my life. Feel free to go look at my pinned tweet on Twitter with a video clip of him. I pegged him as my RB1 back in January. I love me some Jonathan Taylor. But some other people where you're going to be able to get some later value that I'm really loving. Wide receiver out of LSU, Justin Jefferson.
Okay.
I feel like people are talking about him a ton, but his ADP is still so low because this is such a loaded draft class. Like I'm looking at, there's this really awesome tool on dynastyleaguefootball.com where it has like rookie ADPs and probability of being able to land players at certain positions. It's really kind of cool. And you can customize it by league size, league type, like one quarterback or super flex, yada, yada. Like Justin Jefferson right now, this tool is saying that you have a 50% chance of him still being available at the 2.4.
Wow.
That is absurd value to me. Justin Jefferson is so good. He's such a great wide receiver. I love what he does. He had a really fantastic combine. He was, one of the top, like there's him and Jamar Chase, who's staying in college for another, he's an underclassman. But Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase were the go-to guys for Joe Burrow. He looked fantastic to me. He pops on film when I watch film on Joe Burrow. I can't help but looking at Justin Jefferson and at Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Justin Jefferson is someone that I think should be considered at the tail end of the first round in rookie mocks. Okay. And he's going right now at like, you have a 50% chance of him still being available at the 2.4. That's way too low for a guy that caliber. When you think about the players that you can get for a 2.04, if you're sending that draft pick to someone in a trade, the players that you're going to get back are not prospects as high as what you're looking at in return for Justin Jefferson. So sure. Justin Jefferson is someone that I'm kind of aggressively targeting from a wide receiver standpoint. He put together a really good combine, came in at 6'1", 202, ran a 4.43 40, so that's quick enough. Mm-hmm. He looked fantastic. I think he checks all the boxes that you want. So yeah, he's someone that I really like at the back of the first round or beginning of the second round in rookie drafts.
Perfect. And Matt Bucks is agreeing with you on this, saying Justin Jefferson is fluid. Great call.
So fluid. That's a great descriptor for him.
Yeah, no, love that. And it's kind of surprising that even just based on an algorithm like that kicks him out super late. That's really surprising.
Yeah,
but like you said, the class is stacked.
It's just such a deep class. I think like most other years, he'd be a lock for first round value. But this class, I mean, man, all the way up to the middle of the second round, you've got like potential studs. Mm-hmm. But I don't know what more that you want to see in a wide receiver other than 1,500 yards and 18 touchdowns.
I mean, I'm looking at that 18 touchdowns, and I'm just like,
could have been 20. Could have been 20.
It could have been 20, but also how skewed it is to have someone like Joe Burrow as your quarterback. So
yeah, but that's almost a third of the receiving touchdowns that Burrow threw over the entire season.
Yes,
that's a big share.
It's a video game number that has to be. It has to be looked through a different telescope going into the NFL. You can't think he's gonna get 18 touchdowns.
Oh no.
In his first season, he's just
no.
Not.
You don't.
What is the ratio? How do we put that calculator together to think what he's actually going to get with someone that's not Joe Burrow next season? I mean, I'm bad at math, so that's why I'm really excited to talk to Cynthia Freeland on Saturday so she can teach me math.
Boy, she is fantastic and amazing and has like a bazillion different degrees in like data, and she's absurd. I love what Cynthia Freeland does. You guys are going to have so much fun.
Absolutely.
with getting her on your live stream.
So, I mean, I would love to pose that question to her, just how, and I'm sure that she's going to start talking and my brain is just going to like explode, not being able to keep up, but I'll try my best. I'll get my notes out. I'm going to take as many as I can to try and figure it out. But I want to know how you take those numbers and look at that in the full scope of the NFL and think, okay, as a rookie in a new system that doesn't have what he had before, still taking his athletic ability, how can we estimate how many touchdowns and how many receiving yards this guy can get without knowing what system he goes in? Obviously, it all changes depending on the team that drafts him. But how can we have, as Dynasty, fantasy football players, how can we take that with the grain of salt we need to know what we're supposed to be getting out of that kind of player?
Absolutely. No, I think that's great. You'll have a great conversation about that. Like I kind of said earlier, when you're talking about drafting rookie wide receivers, you are drafting for a longer investment instead of a like right here, come in and contribute wide receiver one numbers. But he's someone that 2-3 years into the NFL, he could he's got the tools where it could happen. He could hit and be either a wide receiver one or a strong wide receiver two option on your dynasty leagues in a couple of years. He might be wide receiver two flexibility this year. And I said flex ability, not flexibility. But in year one, like we just saw out of AJ Brown, DK Metcalf, stuff like that. He's a very, very fluid person. Yeah, that's great. LSU had him listed at 6'3". Reason why the combine is so important. Can't trust Louisiana height doctors. Yeah, I mean, all of these teams. I was so scared that Clyde Edwards-Helaire was going to come to the combine and he was going to be like 5'6", 189 pounds. Like I was so terrified that they were just kind of leaning on the scale, putting their thumb on it when taking his measurements. All these teams do it. It pisses me off. Go with the combine numbers. It's actually accurate.
I just love that. I know that this was Bucks that put this comment in, because who else would put height doctors?
Height doctors.
So good. So love good. It. Okay, so you love Justin Jefferson. Let's get two more guys that you love.
Okay. I'm a very big fan of running back Keyshawn Vaughn out of Vanderbilt.
Okay.
He's so good to me. He's got a little bit of an interesting backstory. Like, he transferred schools. He is a little bit of an older senior coming in. Like, he'll be 22 this year. So he's not like an early declare guy, that you're going to likely have to take in the first round of the draft. But looking at this tool that I was telling you about on dynastyleaguefootball.com, by the way, I'm not affiliated with them at all. It's not like I'm pumping my own stuff. It's just a cool tool.
Yeah, we all use different tools, so it's good to know what works for you.
It's a fascinating tool. I like it. It says that according to ADPs so far, the earliest that he's going is the 2.05.
Okay.
And it says that earliest that he's going, I was looking at the person above him. He has been taken as early as the 2.01, but this model still says you have a 66% chance of him being available at the 212. All the way through the second round, because of how deep this class is, people taking quarterbacks, all these wide receivers that are on the board. I've got Keyshawn Vaughn as being my running back 6 pre-draft, like depending on draft capital and landing spot and all that stuff. But his tape is so good. Keyshawn Vaughn does a little bit of everything. Like, he's big enough, he's fast enough, he's strong enough. He's not like elite in any one category. And that's why he's not like your Jonathan Taylor, DeAndre Swift. Like, he's not elite, but he's just so solid across the board. When you watch the tape on him, his game against LSU, national champions, was fantastic. He has great agility. He's got great twitch. He's also strong, and he's a finisher. Like, he drives his legs like crazy. There was a play where he got stood up at about the 3-yard line by almost the entire LSU defense. And it became like a scrum, where all the offensive linemen are behind and like all that. He drove the entire LSU defense 3 yards for a touchdown.
Wow.
Like, it was so awesome to see. Yeah. And you're like, that's what I love to see. I want a guy that can finish. Like, give me a guy that you can give him the ball inside the 5-yard line and he can get you the extra 1 to 2 yards that's needed to punch it in. That's awesome. So let me pull up his combine numbers. I
think I have those. His 40 is 4.51. His vertical was 32, and his broad jump was 117 inches.
Yeah, the 4.51 is fine. That's a good number for him. You don't need amazing elite long speed as a running back. It's more about, agility and short burst. And he has that in spades. 5'10", 214 pounds. That's like your prototypical running back in the NFL. So he's someone that I like. He played in the SEC. He played against really, really, really good competition. And I think that if he gets the capital, like 3rd round, maybe 4th, and goes to a situation where he's got a chance to contribute, I think that he could be a really interesting prospect.
Awesome. Oh, I love that one. And I'm really interested about messing with this calculator, because the fact that it's listing him to go so late is also super interesting to me.
Yeah, it is to me too. But I did a rookie mock, and I think that in the mock that I did, with some other people, like a live mock, I think that he went at like the 2.7.
Okay.
Something like that. I mean, a mid-second round pick for an SEC running back. I would take that gamble.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'd take that gamble.
And I know that Bucks is still in here, because who else would say this? Guy has sack. Love.
Yeah, he does. Yeah. No,
Thanks,
he plays with some cojones for sure.
My goodness. And John having to leave, but thanks for joining us, John Lobb. He says he's an old man, tired. Great show. Have a stupendous evening, and see you on Saturday. Looking forward to seeing you Saturday, John. Thank you for joining us. Okay. Your last one for the night.
My last one.
Yes.
If I've got to pick one.
You got to pick one off your list.
I've done a running back. I've done a wide receiver. So I'm going to go quarterback. I'm going to go with Jalen Hurts.
Okay.
He's a really fascinating quarterback to me because he has the intangibles that you want to see. Like his athleticism is amazing. He was at LSU. He ended up getting beat out by Tua because Tua is Tua.
Sure.
Like he got beat out by arguably the best quarterback in the country. I can't knock the guy for that. And then he goes to Oklahoma and continues to put up massive numbers. Fed CeeDee Lamb like crazy. Lamb feasted with Jalen Hurts as the quarterback. Good enough to be the conference player of the year in both conferences, the SEC and the Big 12. So he's someone that I think people are starting to rise on. He had a really good combine. He looked great. His ability to throw the deep ball looked really good at the combine, and people were, I think, questioning that with him coming in.
Okay.
But his athleticism, he's kind of this modern quarterback that people are looking for. Like, if I think about someone that New England could potentially draft if they don't go like the Cam route, stuff like that, this is the guy that I think that they could target. Like, they're not going to probably get into the top of the first and go take Burrow or Tua or Herbert or Jordan Love. Some people think that Jordan Love is going to go like in the first half of the first. That seems rich to me, but I could see them making a move like either up slightly to take him, or he could potentially just be there waiting for them. And this is a quarterback that Bill Belichick has never had. He's never had a mobile, athletic quarterback, and he's watched Lamar Jackson tear up the conference this last year.
Sure.
That could be an interesting fit for me. But he's that guy that comes in. He has so much vibrato and swagger. Like, if you listen to his interviews, he is just so full of confidence in himself. He's very athletic. I think his accuracy is better than people give him credit for. And he put up crazy numbers, both rushing and passing. So he's probably going to be like the fifth quarterback off the board, kind of like Lamar Jackson was. Because I think Lamar was the fifth one off. Late first round pick, probably. Maybe a second round pick. But he's someone that could, quickly ascend at the NFL, or maybe sit for a year and then get a shot. So he's someone that I will be targeting probably in the second round, like back half of second rounds in rookie drafts.
All right. I love that. I mean, I love anyone that you can see great value at. For people that might not have a number one pick in this year's rookie draft for their dynasty leagues, who can they get excited about with those second round picks if you don't feel like you can make the move to pick up a first round draft pick, but still get good value later and still find value in those second and thirds? I feel like too many times people get discouraged by those picks, and really you just have to be looking at different types of value for these different players. So I love that you brought those guys up, and plus getting to hear where they're landing in those different scenarios with those draft calculators, the percentage, the chance of you getting them. There's still gonna be plenty of guys. This is a huge draft. These are amazing players.
Massive.
Lots and lots of great volume that you guys can get there. And another question, would love to hear your thoughts on Van Jefferson as a later dynasty pick.
Yeah, I'm fine with him as a later pick. He has the athletic ability. He's a little bit of a taller, leaner running back, 6'2", right around 200 pounds. From what I've seen from him, he's got really good hands. He runs decent enough routes, but I like that he fights contested catches really well. So as a late round pick, like as probably a third round pick in your rookie drafts, that's a fine dart throw that I would be happy to take. And that's all that they are. When you get down into like the third round, or if you're doing 4 rounds in a rookie draft, they're just lottery tickets at that point. I mean, your chances of them like really hitting and paying off massive dividends are not great. So you kind of just have to look at upside. And a lot of the times I think you just kind of have to trust your own judgment there. Like, if there's a guy that you like and you don't necessarily have reasons formulated for liking him, like you don't know his stats offhand or whatever, but you just watch the tape and you like how he plays, take your shot on him. Like, take your pick on a guy that you just like. Like, that's okay. It doesn't always have to be crazy analysis and I know that he's got a 6% dominator rating. Like, you don't always need that. That stuff's helpful.
Sure.
And it's helpful, especially when you're looking at early. I invest a lot more time in early round picks than I do in late ones because they've got a really good chance of hitting.
Mm-hmm.
And I like to have some of those sleepers in mind, some of those late round dart throws that I'm going to take. Absolutely. It's always nice to find the diamond in the rough, but why not invest more heavily in the draft capital, the people that are going to get taken in the first 3 rounds of the NFL draft, and have a better chance of paying off for your dynasty teams. So I've watched, a few Florida games and watched some Van Jefferson tape, and I like him fine enough. His production wasn't great, but he's someone that I have no problem with taking a dart throw on in the 3rd round of your rookie draft.
Sure. I love that. I have to address Michelle because she does not let up on me at all. She says, girl, you never talk to us. It's so hard to keep up in that chat. I feel like I've tried at times, and then there's other times where it's just, I'll try and do better. All I can say is I can try to be better. Will I be the best? Probably not. But I've set the bar low, so I just have to exceed that bar.
Michelle, I need you to give me Kenyon Drake now. So if you can send me a trade offer with Drake, that'd be great.
Yeah. I can't keep up with
that league. That league is mental. The trades in that league are cray cray.
They are, and
it's so fast
every day. I mean, every day I send you a trade request. Okay, I'm trying to at least be on top of my trade requests as much as I can be. But even then, I sent you one. I'm like, this is a terrible trade. Why are you just like coming up with random trades? Some people just send trades, and I'm just like,
well, people saw how angry I was about Rashad Perryman going to the Jets today. Mm-hmm. I got 2 trade offers in less than 3 minutes. Both of them were for 2021 4th round picks. I'm like, are you like, get the out of here. Just back out.
Yeah.
Come on.
Just no. It's just too much. I can't do that. Can you just give me your best player for nothing? No, I can't do that.
No, you will not have Patrick Mahomes for a second. Sorry.
No, I'm sorry. That's just not happening. And then one more. All right. Sweet 1st round flyer for Buck. Thank you. Yes. Love that. Thanks, Bucks, for joining. And I have to say, John, thank you so much for joining. This was so much fun. I feel like we were talking before we went on, and I was like, hey, I try and have some sort of a framework, but, let it fly. I feel like we just have so much fun on these shows, and talking football is very natural.
It is. It's always fun. Thanks so much for having me on. It was really awesome. We need to get you over on the Redshirt pod here soon, and get you going on that.
Yeah, guys, if you want to follow John on Twitter, he's at Dynasty Beard, and please go ahead and check out at Redshirt Podcast, Fantasy Football Podcast. Subscribe to them. Subscribe to us. There's plenty of time to catch up on your podcasts right now.
Oh, there's plenty.
All of that news. There's plenty of info. Check out the podcast that they just had on Saturday. Follow them on YouTube. Check out that show. And mark your calendars, because this Saturday, Michelle Majuk from the Fantasy Ball Blast podcast and I are going to be hosting an all-women podcast all day Saturday. Very
what time does that
excited.
start?
I'm going to try and make it start at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. We'll see.
Okay.
We'll see. So far, we have Stefania Bell, Cynthia Freeland, Colleen Wolfe. We got some big hitters in right at the beginning.
Stefania Bell is so amazing. Obviously, I love the other 2, but like I've already commented on the other 2, but Stefania Bell is so good. That's such a fun trio that you guys have there already.
Oh, absolutely. I'm super excited. We've got Liz Loza. She's already signed up too.
Yes.
I cannot wait to talk to her. We've just got so many. It's a great list, and it just keeps growing. So I'm super excited. I am not going to be able to keep up with these amazing women that I just want to adopt me, but it's going to be a lot of fun. So please join us this coming Saturday, and we will be posting all about it all week. If you haven't already, hit subscribe. Please do. If you want to follow me on Twitter, I'm at Samantha R. Holt. And on Instagram, I'm at Sam_awesome. We are brought to you by The Original Hooters. And thank you guys for joining us. Have a wonderful evening. Enjoy this quarantine and chill. Bye, guys.